Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kepada semua kawan-kawan kita yang ada dekat sini, special mention kepada NADMA, saya Tengku Muhammad Bakri Shah bin Ibu Musin, selaku CEO kepada AmphiResQ, welcome you. Dengan izin, kalau boleh saya akan bertutur dalam bahasa Inggeris dan sedikit-sedikit dalam bahasa Melayu. Saya harap kita boleh ada dalam suasana santai pada hari ini, dan insyaAllah kita akan buatkan sesi ini untuk buat semua agensi-agensi faham. First and foremost, saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Cik Nio dan juga NADMA kerana memberikan kami peluang untuk organize dan menjemput semua agensi-agensi yang ada. Seperti yang diberitahu oleh rakan saya Hanif tadi, terima kasih kepada anda semua, especially masa COVID, kerana selepas COVID lah idea AmphiResQ ni dilahirkan. Now, first of all, I would like to introduce you guys. Saya ingin memperkenalkan semua dengan kita punya chairman, Yang Mulia Ungku Haji Musin di situ, dan juga kita ada Richard Ko, kita punya director dan juga sales of Richard Ko is also kita punya marine engineer. Now, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, bila saya share sedikit dengan tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, kami, kalau tuan-tuan tengok beg di depan tu warna kuning, beg kuning tu, is actually daripada FMS, First Marine Services. Itu adalah grup kami dahulu. Jadi FMS ni kita telah berada dekat dalam safety industry, dalam oil and gas selama 40 tahun. Dan dalam pada masa yang sama, kita punya specialize is lifeboat. Kalau semua tahu dekat sini, lifeboat tu yang boat yang kuning dekat atas pelantar minyak. Jadi kita punya tugas dari 83 sampai ke 2000, kita menjual lifeboat dan juga kita servis dia. Jadi tuan-tuan, bila saya tengok dekat dalam oil and gas ni, kita kena bayar banyak sangat duit kerana kita kena ambil orang putih dan juga overseas punya prinsipal datang ke sini. Dengan itu kita orang pun fikir apakah benda-benda yang kita boleh cuba untuk manufacture dekat Malaysia. So selepas 40 tahun kita jadi representative dan menjual lifeboats. Di situ our specialty is not only safety, kita punya specialty juga adalah maintaining. So alhamdulillah kita telah maintain semua lifeboat yang ada di pelantar minyak semenanjung Malaysia, untuk Petronas, Exxon, Shell, dan ramai lagi oil majors. Dan daripada kepakaran itu kita boleh buat refurbishment ataupun MRO untuk semua keselamatan, especially the lifeboats. Now, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, saya ingin perkenalkan Mr. Lo at the back, Lo Guangbo. Thank you very much, Mr. Lo. Now, Mr. Lo daripada China, beliau sudah berkecimpung dekat dalam amphibious ni selama lebih 30 tahun. Now, couple dengan kita punya kebakaran 40 tahun, Ungku Musin dan juga Mr. Rich, kita telah bersatu pada 2022 dan kita memikirkan macam mana untuk manufacturekan satu amphibious vehicle ni di Malaysia untuk jadi buatan Malaysia. Tuan-tuan, ini kerana kita tahu macam bencana banjir memang sentiasa berlaku dekat Malaysia ni. Boleh dikatakan tiap-tiap tahun mesti ada. Dan dalam pada masa yang sama, kadang-kadang yang kita tuan-tuan sendiri yang mengalami, yang kita boleh handle. Sometimes you guys are confronted with a lot of challenges, dan dalam pada masa yang sama mungkin tidak mempunyai vehicle yang boleh merentas keadaan ini. Jadi dengan itu, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, after pada tahun 2023 AmphiResQ ditubuhkan dan kita address semua isu-isu yang ada dekat Malaysia ni. Dan Alhamdulillah saya bersyukur sangat-sangat kerana kita dekat Malaysia ni kita punya NADMA. Dan tuan-tuan dan puan juga, saya ingin cakap sikit, saya ni sebenarnya nervous, tuan-tuan dan puan. Sebelum ni saya biasanya dengan private entity, tapi sekarang ni kita tengah berdepan dengan kerajaan. Jadi kita kena bagi yang terbaik. Dan kerajaan Malaysia through Petronas telah mendidik kita, FMS dan juga myself and the whole team untuk berikan terbaik in terms of the quality of the product and safety and also longevity of the product. Now, ada satu kejadian di Bentong di mana ada banjir yang berlaku sana, dan unfortunately ada satu hamba Allah yang juga kita punya director kepada AmphiResQ, ibu mertuanya tersangkut di Bentong, dan dalam pada masa yang sama beliau tenggelam dan beliau kata memegang tiang tu, and the whole night, satu malaman beliau di sana. Unfortunately tak banyak kenderaan yang boleh masuk. In fact dia punya father-in-law dia pun sampai sanggup bayar 50-60 ribu untuk lori masuk, tapi tidak dibenarkan dan memang tak boleh masuk. Jadi atas sebab itu juga Alhamdulillah selepas semalaman beliau diselamatkan daripada NGO punya perahu yang cepat masuk dekat sana. Unfortunately due to that incident, bila orang tua lepas tu about couple of months later, bukan kerana banjir tapi atas sebab itu dia meninggal. Now kami terfikir, what is the fastest response time that we can help assist people like this when in need dalam keadaan-keadaan yang susah? Dan insya-Allah dengan izin Allah, apabila kita couple our experience dengan experience daripada Mr. Loh, iaitu kita punya Chief Engineer dan Chief Designer, di mana beliau telah membuat amphibious vehicle dengan pihak kerajaan dan pihak-pihak yang lain dan dijual di merata dunia. Jadi kita tackle Mr. Loh, kita cakap dengan dia, as a Malaysian we need this and we believe, saya percaya dari sini, dan apabila kita manufacture dekat sini, we can reach in Asia and throughout the whole world. InsyaAllah selepas ini Mr. Rick akan explain dengan lebih detail lagi mengenai kita punya MARV, Modular Amphibious Response Vehicle. Tuan-tuan dan puan, ini adalah modular selepas diulang kaji. Kami tahu pasal dekat sini kita ada smart team, dan again saya nak ucapkan terima kasih kepada NADMA kerana dengan izin Tuhan, Alhamdulillah kita sendiri berjumpa dengan NADMA, ambil advice daripada NADMA, tapi sebelum kita pergi jumpa dengan smart team. Dan saya based di Australia sebelum ni, dan kita pun sangat-sangat bangga apabila kita sebagai orang Malaysia di overseas, dalam pada percakapan tentang bencana, smart team punya nama selalu disebut-sebutkan. Mereka dikenali dengan mereka punya skill dan juga mereka punya equipment. Di situ Umusin, Mr. Loh dan juga tim kita, kita nak cakap this is the best equipment that we would like to propose to NADMA and to smart team, and insyaAllah throughout the whole Malaysia, all the agencies can utilize our modular amphibious response vehicle. Now tuan-tuan, kita akan tunjukkan selepas ini basic saja. Kita akan tunjukkan basic vehicle tu. Basically the vehicle himself is modular, jadi kita boleh letak apa-apa saja yang di atas. Tuan-tuan pun dah jumpa Chanel tadi, dari ada yang water maker, ada yang pump. Semua benda-benda ataupun equipment yang kita boleh letak di atas MARV adalah benda-benda yang telah kami study yang diperlukan. Benda-benda standard yang ada seperti crane, winches, sangat penggunaannya sangat-sangat luas. Now tuan-tuan, insyaAllah saya pun tak nak cakap banyak, lebih sikit. Kita ada question and answers pun selepas ini dalam pukul 11 insyaAllah. Kita akan ada bus. Bus tu bukan bus amphibious guys. Bus tu akan membawa kita ke tempat untuk amphibious rescue di Cendrawasih. Now tuan-tuan, we are not just offering a vehicle, we are presenting strategic solutions. InsyaAllah dengan hati terbuka, saya juga ingin mengingatkan, the vehicle yang kita akan tunjukkan kepada tuan-tuan adalah one of our demo vehicle and our first vehicle. Kita nak menunjukkan walaupun vehicle ni lama, tetapi sampai sekarang masih lagi boleh bergerak, masih lagi boleh dideploy untuk rescue mission. Inshallah, without further ado, any question and answers, we will address it later on dengan Mr. Joko. Again, saya ingin mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih kepada semua pihak-pihak yang ada dekat sini, terutama NADMA, Smart, ABM, tak lupa juga kepada kawan kita daripada PGRN, Bumra, BPM. Terima kasih banyak-banyak. InsyaAllah kita akan jumpa lagi di question and answer sebentar lagi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada CEO Engku Muhammad Batin Shah. Tanpa melengahkan masa lagi, without further ado, we invite Mr. Richard for the next presentation.
Selamat datang and terima kasih for coming here today. Appreciate everybody's time. It's absolutely fantastic to see the interest and support from so many incredible organizations. So as been described, we're just going to give you a slide presentation, and then afterwards we will go to the river and give a demonstration of the vehicle that you see here. Bear in mind it is 20 years old, but it's been running, it's been tested last year, it works very well. So we're very happy to show that, we're very happy to have everybody here. And so, yeah, a little bit of background for me, briefly. I'm a ship's engineer, marine engineer. Been at sea for 37 years, and now I work as a project engineer for the British Antarctic Survey, so in Antarctica and Cambridge. And the news coming out of there is not good for climate change. We are going to see enormous changes in flooding, typhoons, and that's not even to say earthquakes, but obviously that's not weather related, tsunami. But natural disasters are going to increase. There's nothing we can do about that, and there doesn't seem to be globally a political will to try and reduce it, carbon emissions. So every single day I work in the office and in Cambridge. It's not good news. So what does that mean? It means we have to adapt, and that means our response, that includes our response. So flooding is a very difficult problem, but it's widespread, obviously throughout the whole ASEAN region, Malaysia included. Everybody well knows what happens in the monsoon floods. So we can bring a solution that will help with this, because currently, not just everywhere in the world, response to flooding is not where it needs to be for the situation that's getting worse. So we believe we can produce modern, supported vehicles that can respond in a number of ways, in modular ways, and that's the cost-effective proposition that we have. We can convert existing chassis, donor chassis, everything from small jeeps to buses, as you'll see, and that's cost-effective. And the modular concept, which we will explain in the slide, means it's also cost-effective. One single truck can perform up to 5 functions. It can be a clinic, ambulance, it can deliver food, it can produce water. This is a very exciting thing we hope to share with you. We believe last year we tested a water maker on the Kuantan River, and we believe this was a world first. I'm speaking at a disaster expo in Los Angeles last year. The company, one of the senior executives of Kuantan, who make the water maker, said if we can prove we can make this off-grid, which we can using solar and a battery system, then that's it. It's a game changer. So delighted to be here. I'm hoping to move here. Apologies, I don't yet speak Malay, but I will. And that's it. So we can start the slide. So we've seen the overview. So the concept. If we look at, there we go. So during the Second World War, as obviously people know, ducks and perhaps have even seen amphibious tour vehicles of larks, but this was the first. And that was converted from the CCKW utility truck into what was known as the DUKW, which everybody knew as ducks. And that was the war winner. That won the war. It wasn't atomic weapons, it wasn't missiles, it wasn't jet airplanes. It was literally the ability to move men, equipment, and materials in large numbers where there were no harbors or ports or anything like that. So just a beach you could go up. And then that truly was amazing. We are just going to bring that into the 21st century. So instead of an old CCKW, it could be a Unimog, which is a capable vehicle anyway, and then we could turn it into a swimming Unimog, or any vehicle that you have or want, we can do that. This is very, very interesting. So how I got to know Mr. Lowell, this is now 10 years ago. I was originally planning to drive from London to Sydney in the amphibious truck. And I wanted to do this. It took me 10 years, and I'd been all over the world trying to find a vehicle that could make it. I looked at DUKWs, the old World War II ones, and they just weren't up to it. And there was nothing out there that I could have used to drive all the way from London to Sydney. But I got introduced to Mr. Law in 2014 by a friend of mine. I went out to China. I saw what he was doing, and I thought, this is it. So that's what started it all. We were all set to go, but pandemic and lockdown happened. But as we were driving through, as we would have been driving through Southeast Asia with the vehicle on our way to Australia, we were going to demonstrate the vehicle for disaster relief, so to you guys as we went through. Of course, that didn't happen, but we've now focused on, because there is a need for disaster response. I'm very pleased to have been introduced to Unku and Buckley. We formed AmphiResQ, and now here we are. It's been a journey, 3-4 years, but we're very happy at this stage, so thank you again. So, Mr. Raw, when I met him, turns out he had since 1994 been making all sorts of amphibious vehicles. You can see them there. Those are the military ones. As you see, we can do jeeps and pickups. On the left is a very interesting one. We have that vehicle at our facility in Kuantan, but you can see it can deploy inflatable boats, which is going to be useful for swift water and getting into small places to rescue people in kampongs and villages. Next to it, I don't know if you can see, but there are drones. We definitely are going to incorporate drone technology in our response efforts for mapping areas of need, situational awareness. Absolutely incredible what we can do. The slide on the left is from an evacuation center in Manila, in the Philippines. This is 2 or 4 vehicles that were sold to the Philippines for disaster response. So I think it's true to say this is beyond proof of concept, way beyond proof of concept. These are being used in action every single day. And this was another vehicle. This is now the orange vehicle that we have in our facility also in Kuantan. But this is what was being used in a flood response effort in China, taking bottled water and supplies. Now I'll get to that bottled water later. But these have been used in actual response cases, and we have letters and credentials from the Chinese Red Cross, so it's beyond proof of concept. So, that's a tour bus that was used and converted, so it gives it a size of it. And then if you So this was an interesting order. This was 10 units for a tour operation in Mexico. You can see it's quite an impressive looking vehicle. That is a seismic detection vehicle. So very, very unique. Only one in the world where they can use. So China has mega dams. Large dams can cause problems with earthquakes. Large bodies of standing water can cause earthquakes. So a Chinese earthquake authority, Fujian, asked Mr. Lowe to produce a seismic vessel. So that consists of air guns and sensors, and it deploys, and you can map and see what's going on with the substructures on lakes. You can also use it to survey dams. We can source equipment, very lightweight, that can be now put on. So it's one of the modular applications we can do if we need to survey bodies of water, hydro dams, anything. So yeah, so hopefully. And this was a military version. It's armored. Very, very impressive. I've seen it. 8-ton capacity. Very, very high water speed and road speed. Very impressive. So the advantages of conversion is what we do. We don't build from the wheels up, which makes for a very expensive solution. We can take any vehicle you've got, as long as it's suitable, and most are, and then we can convert it using Mr. Lowe's technology experience and engineering skills. We can convert, which just brings the production cost down and also the speed. So that's very, very interesting. We can tool up, we can do completely knockdown kits. There's so many flexible things we can do, so it's quite open. That's the vehicle you'll be seeing today, based on a military utility truck, and there you can see it on a body of water in China, training with the Red Cross and civil defense organizations in China. So it's very well known in China, very well established, so it's great to bring it outside of China to the world, to Malaysia and to the ASEAN region, but also globally. I'm from Africa. We see huge problems all the time, especially up the east coast with cyclones, what we call typhoons. So the market is enormous and globally. If you think about Indonesia and the Philippines, thousands of islands in the country, difficult to get to, but not with us. We can easily arrive on a ship, we can deploy these on a ship, and just like ducks of World War II, we can use platform supply ships, any merchant vessel, and then bring relief material ashore, up a beach. We don't need harbors, we don't need ports, anything like that. So as you can see, and I obviously don't need to tell anybody here, the ASEAN region, Southeast Asia, sees a huge amount of natural disasters, flooding, landslides, earthquakes, that sort of thing. So we can literally help assist communities, food, evacuation, medical clinics, water production, things like that. Another interesting item we can do is using the vehicle as a forward helicopter refueling station. So we can take up to 6,000 liters of jet fuel on the back of the duck, and we can refuel helicopters in the field. And this is an exciting concept because it means we can extend helicopter operations when needed, because the helicopter always has to return to base to fuel. But if we're at the outer edge of the operating radius, we can just allow the helicopters to fly further and help if we need to assist with aviation response assets. So I'm speaking to a squadron leader in the Chilean Air Force who fly Black Hawk helicopters, and he was absolutely amazed in what we could do. And again, it's really only the military that do this. They call it forward arming and refueling points, but we can be a civilian forward refueler very easily. one of my jobs with the South African Antarctic program was to run look after the fueling for our helicopters. We had 2 Puma helicopters, so I'm experienced in fuel handling, helicopter fuel handling, safety, and I'm developing a means to do that. That is, we will have the complete safety firefighting systems built in. So that's a very exciting concept of what we can do. So there's another close-up picture of our MARV. And as I say, MARV is a way of leveraging the use of a single vehicle. So we will produce a single unit like that, but we have modular systems that can be rapidly deployed to the vessel depending on the needs. So we can have a clinic module which can go on. It can be used for straight logistics, wash items, shelter items. It comes with a 2-ton crane. It's got a winch at the front. But the new vehicles we can make will have winches on the stern and the forward section, and obviously the crane as well. So it gets away from having to buy, instead of 4 units, you don't have to have a dedicated water maker truck, a dedicated ambulance or clinic truck, or a dedicated logistics truck. One truck can utilize whatever platform we need, we can put on, and so that brings the cost down. So, and when we're not using it in disaster response scenarios, it's a regular truck. So if your business needs truck transport, it can work 365 days of the year as a truck and when needed in an emergency. So it gets away from what I call the fire truck at the airport syndrome. If you look at any airport in the world, your fire truck, you want it to be the best, shiniest, super duper fire truck in the world. But if everybody does their job, the pilots do their job, the air traffic controllers do their good. But from an accountant's point of view, that is the biggest waste of money you can even think of. And the same for lifeboats at sea. Oku will know. Accountants in shipping companies hate lifeboats because they cost a lot of money. It's a lot of trouble if they don't work, you can't sail. But I've been 37 years at sea, and the only time I've been inside a lifeboat is once a week to test it and drill. So I've never needed in 37 years a lifeboat. So a complete waste of money for all the companies. But when you need it, you want it. So, but this gets away from the fire truck and lifeboat, fire truck at the airport syndrome. And so there we are on the river. We were testing here, you can see that's Kuantan. Fantastic news last year. That's just a quick diagram of a unit that was requested by the Philippines, again, as a tour unit, but also for the fire authority. So they can also be used as fire trucks, if need be. There's a much better, nicer picture of that. So you can see the crane, you can see the inflatable, which can be stowed in a cradle on top of the roof. You see the drones and the knife rings and things like that. So very, very good picture that. We love that. And that's definitely what we can do. So, and there it is on the Kuantan River coming up the slope. Is this a clip? Yeah, here we go. This is great. And this is where we'll be later on. So I think that shows it quite well. And if you can imagine in local conditions, we can cross rivers where bridges are down. If there's flooded sections, it's easy enough to go. I've seen pictures of floods in Pahang, where perfectly good road, but where there's a depression in the country, in the topography, floods and no cars can cross. So you just see a big collection of cars 20 meters away, the road continues ahead. And so it becomes difficult to reach, but not us. We can come charging along 95 kilometers an hour. We get to a flooded section of road, simply drive across it easily, and then pick up the road on the other end, and off we go. So where communities have been cut off by strategic flooding of access roads is not a problem for us. We can get in supplies, we can get in water, we can get in medical help, logistics, you name it. So that's very interesting. This is a lovely shot. This is one of the Mexican ducks, and another testimony to Mr. Rowe and his engineering skills, because the customer asked for 10 vehicles, which Mr. Rowe and his factory promptly did, and then when they finished them, the company came and said, well, now we want 5 pumps on it, which, you know, if they asked at the beginning, it would have been built in. So they had to find a way to engineer a pump set in a complete vehicle that hadn't been designed. But they did it. And here she is in China. So quite impressive. You can see even if you're running an amphibious tour company, you can always assist in disaster response and any sort of incidents that might need our help. Again, just some footage of the seismic detection vehicle. You can see on the back is a generator, a high pressure compressor, and a very cleverly designed air gun system that drops off, and then they can do the seismic surveys from there. Here we go with just the possibilities of what we can do with our modular solutions. So one thing we can do is fit on the back of the truck very, very high capacity dewatering pumps. And this is actually a very, very strategic application of what we can do. This particular pump, it's in China, but we can 1.6 tons, so can easily be fitted to the vehicle with our 2-ton drain, and that means we can deliver a high pressure or a high capacity dewatering pump anywhere. Very short suction hose. One particular I've noticed from all the time I've been in Kuala Lumpur, in the afternoons you get the localized downbursts or flooding. So we can use that to strategically dewater sections of the city where needed, and in remote locations we can get a flood in there to pump in there, to dewater the pump. That pump capacity is 1,500 cubic meters an hour, which is quite a historic rate. So, and we can fit 2 to the vehicle. So that means 3,000 cubic meters an hour. That's a significant pump rate, especially for a mobile unit. So it means we can strategically deliver dewatering solutions where we need them in emergencies or otherwise. This is a great thing to talk about. This is our water maker. So the case unit that you can see there is 90 kilograms, and that can produce, as I say, 16,000 liters of water a day. Clean drinking water, and we can do that from seawater, brackish water, fresh water, but crucially, flood water. So that means where there are floods and people, as you well know, in floods, water becomes an issue. You know, you might be wading around in water up to your chest, but you definitely can't drink that water, or certainly not without boiling. People don't have the means normally to purify flood water, but thanks to the reverse osmosis system, we can deal with that. We can also deal with things like pesticides, petrochemicals, heavy metals, which is what flood water is. Flood water is a toxic soup of all sorts of things, but this unit will take it out. The other interesting point is that we can power that off-grid using solar and battery backup. So we're trialing with a Singaporean company, working with them. They've been very, very good. With their mobile power system. The desalinator is also in Singapore. We've tested the desalinator or the water maker on the battery system. So when we add solar panels to the roof, it means we can make 16,000 liters a day, every single day, off-grid. We don't need fuel for a generator. We can just sit there and make community level, even town level amounts of water with renewable energy. So no fuel input. It means we can sustain in the field as long as we need to. So as long as people need water, we can do that. 16 cubic meters a day, that's just one unit. We could probably fit 4 or 5 units to a truck. So I think that starts to give an idea of exactly how much fresh water we could produce. And that is a lifesaver because, again, as you all know, you could go without food for 3 weeks, but if it's no more than 3 days without water, you're in trouble. 48 hours without water, you're going to be hurting. So we can get there rapidly with the vehicles. Doesn't matter if bridges are down, doesn't matter if areas are flooded. We can hit communities that need us, and we can start producing water instantly in hours after a disaster is hit. So that's another very interesting thing. And then the next slide you'll see, so that is the mobile power system from Rian in Singapore. You have the brochure, I believe, in your packs. Tremendous, easy to use, rugged, plug and play. That's what we love. And as I say, we have tested it running the water maker. For the test on the river last year, unfortunately we had to use a generator. But so what you'll see in the clip is a generator. But just know that we can use the battery system overnight as well. I think you'll see the clip now of here we go. So the yellow is the suction, obviously, and go through the mold. that was, a lot of people drank that, including Chanel from Rion, who's here with us today, so she survived drinking the Kuantan River. Thanks to the equipment, we're very excited about that. We can do a lot with that, and there's a lot of people who are showing deep interest in just that one particular area, is mobile water collection. So this is interesting. We're getting to the end of the presentation, so I hope I haven't bored you too much. I've got some information across, but what's very interesting, and this is quite a crucial slide, is to demonstrate how many different types of vehicles Mr. Rowe has made in his career as an amphibious chief engineer and chief designer. And I can tell you now, my projects driving from London to Sydney, I spent about 15 years building up to it, preparing to it. I spent about 5 years traveling around the world trying to find a suitable vehicle that could stand up to it. So I became familiar with a lot of amphibious tours, just about every amphibious vehicle out there, and none of them were going to do it. And then I discovered Mr. Lowe, and I was absolutely amazed to see the number, number one, the number of vehicles that he's produced. And then secondly, all the different types. It's absolutely incredible. I was going to say our competitors out there, but I think it's pretty true to say we do not have any competitors that can produce something like this on this scale. There are one or two types of amphibious vehicles out there, but they are not particularly suitable. I've spoken with Doctors Without Borders, MSF. They contacted me because they had trialed using some sort of amphibious vehicle in East Africa. It was a disaster, and that's why they said, we'd heard about you. They invited me to Brussels. I met with one of their senior trustees, and I gave them information, and they compiled a report for their management, and they said, we are very keen to test your vehicles. So that's it. There's one very, very unsuitable vehicle out there. I won't name it in case I get sued. But we are next level, and people don't know about us yet. We're only a recently formed company. It's fantastic to give this presentation, but as we get the name out there, there are people who are very, very interested into what we can do. So as you can see, 10 toy units, 4 to the Philippines, 2 for the Cathay Defense Ministry, 5 for the Chinese Ministry. So 24 vehicles is astonishing to me in my research and all my years of trying to find somebody that could make me a vehicle that could stand up driving all the way from London to Sydney, and for sure any one of those vehicles could do it. So yeah, we're very, very, very interested in that. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it very much. It's fantastic to see everybody here again. We are looking forward to showing you what's going to happen on the river. Bear in mind, I will say again, the vehicle is 24 years old, but she's a runner. She's good, so we'll see it, and for sure, I'll hand over to MC.